crumbling days. So troubling. Oh, walking these streets, voices echo.
Welcome, Accordia, to another episode of The Slant, the platform that aims to promote authenticity in music. Let's make some noise for episode 2. Hey.
Let's go.
Hey. We're back.
Here we go, man.
This is a really special episode for me. Obviously, in the last year or two, I kind of got involved into music journalism and media, and the Bar for Bar podcast, which I talk about all the time, was really pivotal in that and guided me in the right direction.
Yup, man.
And the lads on this podcast were all, creatives and musicians in their own right, and each and every one of them played a really important role in kind of guiding me in the right direction and taking me under their wing in that sort of sense. However, two of these gentlemen, by the names of Mick and Kev, were deeply involved in music, production and rap in the Irish scene, with producer and feature credits for Curtis, Cubana, Absentee, Slavo and more between them. Their talents precede them. This dynamic duo has just recently released their own collaboration project titled Custard Cream Dreams, which has made waves for its personal and political themes, laid-back beats, and of course its powerhouse track, Sundrive. Sure. I'm extremely pleased to introduce our next guests on The Slant. Joining me today we have Mickzart and Kadillac. Welcome along, lads.
Micah,
Hey.
what an intro, bro. What an intro, man. That was
That
class,
was
man.
beautiful, man.
Yeah,
Thank you for
man.
saying that.
Lads,
Making me proud here, bro. I'm like, yup, man.
welcome along.
Thank you,
Thank you
man.
for having us.
How does it feel to be on the show today?
On the slant.
Feels exciting, man.
Man, it's deadly, bro. And it's
Yeah.
class to be out in the park, man. You know what I mean? Making the
Which-
most of
which
this
park?
beautiful morning.
Which park is this, Nick?
Shay, you know what I mean, man? It's not aiming Kemp Park, man. I'll say that anyways, eh?
Exactly.
Listen, it's been a while since the three of us actually been able to sit down and chat. I mean,
Yeah.
on camera, off camera.
Fact, man, fact.
But I've just been so excited to discuss kind of everything that you guys have been up to over the last few months. But I suppose, since we're in the first few episodes of the Slant, I'll remind you and our viewers about our rotating set, which is kind of something that we're really proud of here at the Slant. So every episode that we film features a different location that is tailored to the artists that we have as guests. A place that means something to them, has sentimental value, or has played a role kind of in their creativity or in their story.
Lethal.
Today, we are recording live at Sunrise in Sundrive Park
Hey!
Yup.
in Crumlin. So I suppose, to kick things off, my first question is, why have you both chosen this location and what does it mean to you?
Man, I just think, to be honest, man, I have memories here, man. I remember when I was like, actually, man, I was saying this, I was actually with Ian, man. I used to have a little tag, man, when I was like a kid, right?
What, like a graffiti tag?
Yeah.
I didn't know you used the graffiti.
No, but I couldn't spray, right? So I had a marker. And the mad part was, this is even before I listened to Nas, but I had a tag called NOS. I think it was because I watched Fast and Furious or something, right? But it was like NOS, but the N was like a little arrow that went to the right.
I think I've seen that before.
Did you?
Yeah.
Bro, we wrote it all over here, man.
Yeah,
but
because is it down on the back wall?
someone robbed it, man.
Yeah.
Someone robbed it, man. I was with Ian, man. I saw it down there, man. But someone put... Yeah, man, that wasn't me, man.
Someone's taking the alias.
Someone from Kimmage has been come and taken out, yeah? They Kimmagified my tag, man. Nah, only messing, but basically what I was saying was, I have memories here, man. Like, when I was younger, I kind of lived down that part of Crumlin. Now I'm a bit older, I'm kind of at that part of Crumlin. But I suppose, man, this park in specifically, the whole thing with, like, the Amy Kant Sundrive, kind of a bit of a catalyst for our album, I'd say, yeah? Just how things have changed over time, so I suppose that's a reason, yeah?
100%. Kev, what about you?
Kind of the same for me. Like, this park is... it's a big part of me growing up. I spent a lot of time in this park. Had a lot of good times, a lot of crazy times,
Yeah.
scary times.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, I've been up on this hill many a time, spent many hours here with friends, and like, when I think of Crumlin, like, Sundrive Park's probably in the top 3 places that I spent the most time, and I think it's a very important part of Crumlin for everyone, old, young, like, everyone comes here, everyone spends time here.
Yeah.
It has a lot more like things now going on. Like there's a coffee shop and all. And
Man, there's a ping pong table over there, man.
yeah, do you know, you can rent the basketball and stuff now.
Yeah.
But like when we were growing up, there wasn't any of that. You had like
Yeah.
the cycle track and the playground. That was it. But
Yeah.
you'd come here and just spend time together and
Great.
have fun.
I remember I raced in that one time, bro. I smoked. Yeah.
Great, yeah. And I suppose moving on to the meat and potatoes of the interview, as you would say, Mick.
Let's go, man.
Before we get onto the album,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to talk a little bit about the build-up to Custard Cream Dreams. And
Yeah.
I think there's been a lot in the build-up to it, a lot in the process. I think that we've seen kind of on social media and things like that.
Yeah.
From D12, obviously the collective that you two are both a part of.
Of course, bro.
But Mick, for you personally, kind of before any announcement for this album, you were kind of seen posting freestyles, releasing singles,
Yeah.
making beats.
Fact, man. Fact.
Was there a plan for an album at the back of your mind the whole time, or was kind of this just kind of reaching into your rap bag, as it were?
What a question, man.
That's a good
By the way, we don't know what he was going to ask for that. So that was brilliant, man.
All off the cuff.
The slant, baby. But no, what I was saying to you there was, or how do I answer that? I suppose there wasn't really, man. If I'm being honest, like what I was trying to do was at the end of 2023, I just hit this bit of a wall with D12 Inc. with bar for bar, yourself, man. There was a few things that were going on. I was just like, oh man, I just need to focus on my own music now, you know what I mean? Kind of go at it. But no, man, there actually wasn't. But this was the thing, man. So Kev was working on his album. I was trying to make my own stuff, and we both hit walls at the same time, man. And when we both hit a wall, Kev sent me on the LB for Red Brick Blue Sky, and it was one of these things where I think even before that, man, I think I was just like, man, me and Kev had so much in the stash, man, so much tracks, demos, and we've always worked together. So it's one of those things where I was like, Kev, me and you should make an album together, you know what I mean?
Yeah. For
myself, I have an idea now, kind of what I want to do, but at that time, I actually didn't like us. That was actually a bit of a fantastic question there, man.
And I suppose, Kev, for yourself, especially kind of in that time in the build-up, you were obviously a lot quieter.
Yes.
Just kind of, I think, in life and social media, I think, as a reflection of that. But still kind of naturally working away on that production, on making beats. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I don't know, for me, I've always been making things since, I don't know, I'm gonna say maybe the end of COVID. I was like, alright, let me actually start trying to take it a bit more serious, because I used to just mess around with things and record demos and stuff. And yeah, I was just making my own project, which is half done at the moment.
Oh, bro,
There's some, that's the thing, there's some songs I love in it, but
man.
I don't want to jump around too much. But at the moment, I'm just finding it hard to alright, where do I take it now? But at that time, I was basically just quit a job that I was working in, was feeling a bit what am I doing with my life?
One of them, man. Yeah.
And Mick was like, man, let's just, I don't know, me and Mick always seem to go through stuff at the same time.
Yeah,
it's kind of
sure.
weird, he'll be
It
going
is,
through
actually.
it, I'll be going through, and he's like, man, we should just do an album. And I was like, oh yeah, yeah, why not? You know what I mean? I was like, I have nothing to do now. I have so much free time. But in the back of my mind, I was like, do I want to do that? Do I want to, you know, obviously one, put yourself out there, and I was like, I don't even know what I want to rap about. I don't know if I have anything to say.
Sure.
And then we made Red Brick was the first song that we made for the project.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of set the tone for me on alright, it doesn't have to be this grand, it doesn't have to be this grand thing and have millions of ideas. It's I don't know, we're kind of rapping about how we feel at this time,
Yeah.
where we're from.
Yeah,
and it was
definitely.
sometimes that's enough,
100%.
It doesn't need to be this mind-blowing thing.
Definitely. I think that definitely comes through, just kind of that beauty and simplicity, I think, definitely in the album.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
100%. And I think something I want to bring up about kind of D12 Inc., which obviously you've both been a part of as a collective, and something that we've seen from D12 Inc. over the last kind of few years, I suppose months as well, is the inclusion of skits, I think. And whether that be kind of comedy skits, on social media to kind of promote music, or whether it's actually on album itself. Like Kimmage Cafe on Custard Cream Dreams. But what I was thinking about when it comes to skits, when I was kind of coming up with this interview, was skits is something that we've really lost in hip-hop culture over the last while. And you look back at kind of previous albums by artists I mean, the College Dropout comes to mind. The amount
yeah.
of skits on that,
Yeah.
and the successive albums, you know, by Kanye West at that time, and just albums at that time in general. Do you think there's a reason that there's a decline in skits, and why do you find yourself almost looking for a resurgence in that?
Yeah.
This is another great question, man.
Can I jump in on that one?
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, 100%. There's definitely a decline in skits, and I think it's just down to attention spans now. It's like, you know, everyone they want to hear the good song, they want to hear it right now. They don't want to listen to like a minute long of like some random like joke, you know, which is kind of sad because like growing up, I think that's like we didn't plan to put any skits on the album.
Okay.
That
it was
happened,
never
man.
a plan.
That
for
just
it.
happened. Yeah.
It just happened out of like being in the studio, messing around, and like it was usually Mick be like, "Oh, I have this like weird idea. I'm gonna say something."
Yeah.
And we just like freestyled it, but like at the time we were growing up in hip hop, it was like every album had a skit.
Man, they all did, man. Yeah,
And I think that's it's like we've kind of missed out on like context as well, and with skits not being as popular.
Bro,
because
yeah.
sometimes you hear a song and it's like a great song, but if you don't know the context of it, it might not hit you as much.
Yeah.
But like years ago, sometimes like some weird skit would come on and then the song would come on, like on an Eminem album, let's say.
Yeah, he
he'd
done
have-
it as well,
he'd have
yeah.
a skit where he's like explaining why he's a psychopath, and then the psychopath song would come on.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it hits more for me when there's like a bit of pre-context.
100%, and I'll let you kind of
Yeah.
add on to that, Mick, but I think like 100% skits definitely add something to the song. I think especially what Kimmage Cafe does for Sundrive in that build up.
It sets up so well,
It
man.
sets
It
it up
does, it
perfectly.
does,
It's
it
like,
does.
you know, and you listen to Sundrive, and like I enjoy it just listening to it, but it is just that reminder of, hey, there is an intention here with our lyrics.
Thank you, bro.
And-
really appreciate that, man.
And I think that is ultimately the role,
Yeah.
of a skit. Is
Man.
there is an intention behind it.
Yeah, bro. Because I was, Micah, shake my hand, bro. No, what I was gonna say was because I think a big part of it as well is like teams, and intention is maybe a better word, but like that's the thing with Kimmett's Cafe. It kind of shows you that there's a theme on the album. Do you know what I mean? I think a lot of albums now is just like a collection of songs. It's like boom. Do you know what I mean? That necessarily there isn't a theme. So it's just like, you know, song, this kind of song, that kind of song, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? And I think when it's like that, it's like there's kind of no need for a skit. You know what I mean? But if you're doing an album, I don't know. I'm thinking like all my favourite albums, man. Even Bleeding, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, man. So at the end of Blame Game where Chris Rock comes on, man. You know, that whole thing.
Yeah.
Just puts you in the frame of like, this chap
Yeah.
is fucked. Do you know what I mean?
On that analogy, like I will never listen to Lost in the World without listening to Who Will Survive in America. I always have to cue it after, because that's the end of the song for me, you know.
Oh, bro, even the interlude before all
Yeah.
the lights, man. Elton John on the keys, man. Oh.
100%. Yeah, and I suppose
man, so good, man.
the last thing then, you know, you've mentioned it a little bit before, Red Brick Blue Sky coming
Yes.
out just
Yeah.
before the album.
Yeah.
That kind of being the way in, the key into the
Yeah.
door of the album, I suppose. Which obviously then was eventually a single on the album. Mick, you described this track as a summer's day when everyone was on break from school and you were gone on a flow with a few mates.
Yeah,
And Kev,
man.
you said listening to it made you feel like a kid again.
Yeah.
No.
How much would you two owe your childhood in the music that you make?
As in like how much it inspires.
Yeah.
I'd say like 90%, bro. Honestly, like a lot, man. Because that, you know yourself, Kev, I think we're similar in this way where it was like, as a kid, music was just such an important thing. It still is now, but it's like, back then even, man, I just feel like there'd be times where shit had just become left, man, in life, in everything, man. But I don't know, music was always there, bro. You know what I mean? I feel like it definitely got me through. Like, that's the thing with music, got me through the worst times and also soundtrack the best times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of those times,
That's a great quote.
clip that, bro. Yeah, send me that later, bro. Yeah, off the cuff, boys, off the cuff. But no, like what I was saying there was, yeah, essentially, man, I'd say like a lot, man. You know what I mean? Now I'm trying to kind of, you know yourself, like you want to talk about stuff that's happening now, but I feel like because I didn't make music earlier,
Sure.
I kind of tap into it a bit. You know what I mean?
Same, yeah.
A lot, man. Yeah, but that's my answer. Kev, you drop a gem now.
I don't know if I have a jam to drop, but yeah, no, I think like that's the thing with like any art in general, and like even if you're not aware of it, it's like, you know, how you grew up is going to influence what you make, even if
Definitely.
you don't want it to. It's going to be in there in somehow.
Yeah, spot on, man.
And yeah, I think like for me that was like the thing. I never planned, like we never planned on making the whole album like based off our childhood, or like Red Brick. It wasn't like, oh, we're gonna make this song about our childhood.
It was actually natural, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just how the beat made me feel, and like for me, it was just like kind of reminiscent. As like Mick said, I didn't make music then, so like I was kind of going back and like 13, 14-year-old me, and like where was he at that time? What was he thinking? You know?
Yeah, man.
So it was kind of like
tapping in, man.
Because I think as well in that same sort of paragraph that you wrote about Red Brick Blue Sky, I think I'm quoting you directly here when I'm saying I'm making my 14-year-old self proud here.
Yeah,
you know.
And it's because that's a song that like if at that age I would have loved him to listen to, because I'd be like, that's where I'm at now, and like that's even the thing. It's like I'm not at that point now, but like I would hope that maybe some teenager in Crumlin listens to it and be like, do you know what? That's where I'm at.
Nice.
Like, it's nice to know that like someone else has been there and is
had
feeling
that experience.
That way. Yeah, because I don't know. That's what like hip hop has always done for me. It's like finding a song that like describes exactly how you're feeling or what you're going through. Or any song doesn't even have to be hip hop, but like
perspective though, isn't it?
Yeah. It just, I don't know. It's like a warm hug. It's just like I see you, like I know how you feel.
100%.
Nice,
100%. Lads, Custard Cream Dreams.
Yes.
Your collaboration album. Obviously, you're both kind of producers at heart.
Yeah.
And with this album, you're kind of reaching further into your rapping capabilities.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about the moment in time. You've kind of touched on it a little bit previously. Tell me a little bit about the moment in time that this project came for both of you. Why decide to make an album together, and why now?
I think it was kind of like, for me and Kev, I think I touched on it a little bit, but it was like we both hit a brick wall trying to make stuff ourselves, you know what I mean? Trying to get to that point where it was a project or whatever, because I was kind of saying that to you, man. I haven't a loose concept, man, but like I could never, you know what I mean, get the thing kind of tied down. But with me and Kev, it was literally, man, I think it all comes from that Red Brick, man, because when you actually, do you know what though, we forgot this, man, to mention. We had the area, man. We actually had a good chunk of the area done before Red Brick, so I feel like that kind of adds to the...
It was a good while before it though, wasn't it?
It was actually like, nearly a year.
That's how I do forget that the area was...
Like, that was the first one we done for that album.
The area had a loose demo like about a year before.
Oh my god, do you remember the original hook and all? Cruising in Kev Suzuki.
Yeah.
Thinking Mickey D's on
and I was being such an ass about it. I was like, nah man, it's not it. It's just like, we'll come back to it, but that's not it.
I was going to ask, like, how does a song stay in the vault so long, not get released, but then be put on the album? So I suppose it's gone through systems.
we changed and the last verse as well.
We changed the verse. Yeah, it was like...
We added to it, like we spiced it up, man.
But yeah, it kind of goes back to what I was saying, like a few minutes ago about like, even if you're not aware of like certain things, it's like you do kind of make the same songs over and over again, you know.
I'm so happy we changed that hook, man. That was so bad, man. But that's the thing, man. Yeah, I'd say it was that, man. Yeah, it kind of came from Red Brick. We had the area before, so I was like, you know, the two songs are kind of in the same world, right? Yeah, I'd say that's it, man. Yeah.
I think personally, you know, knowing you two, what I took most from the album, I think, were kind of the real personal themes.
Nice.
I think,
nice, man.
Sort of that sentimentality. And I really just generally appreciate kind of thought-provoking songs on an album.
Amazing, man. Amazing.
And I suppose, Kev, kind of has to be said, when you take over on the mic, it feels like I'm going to have to prepare myself, no offence,
really,
for you know, your raw emotions and thoughts, which I love.
Thank you, and that's actually really nice.
I suppose my question is, like, do you ever find yourself writing something, you know, and you're like, well, this is kind of just too intense, or do you find that it's, you know, that you find yourself being able to process things more when you write it out and perform it?
Oh, that's such a good question.
So good, bro. The Slant, man.
Yeah, I think, do you know what? It's a little bit of both. I think I've written loads of things that, like, at the time I didn't know why I was writing them, and like I was just writing them because I was like going through something, and I was like, let me just write about this. And sometimes I keep them for myself. Like sometimes when you're making things, you actually realise, do you know what, nobody else needs to hear this. This is just for me. But I think when we were making the album, I did kind of at some point kind of be like, do you know what, like, what's the point of me like trying to rap about something else if this is what I'm going through at the moment? Because it would almost be like I'm kind of lying to myself, but I'm also lying to everyone else. Do you know, if I'm like on here trying to be like, oh yeah, I'm getting like cash and I'm, do you know what I mean, I'm delighted with life, and it's like, I hope I'll be at that point one day, but like, at the moment it's like, this is how I'm feeling. So
Definitely.
yeah, I think, you know, I've always had that approach, and I think that's why I even find it hard to finish songs sometimes. Is like I don't sit down and be like, I want to write a song about this. I'll just sit down and like whatever the beat provokes is what provokes. And sometimes I don't want to talk about that, but it's like, if that's what it's calling for, then I have to follow through. And sometimes that is uncomfortable, and I'm like, damn, I didn't know I still thought about that. I didn't know that was still bothering me, but yeah, you have to commit to it, you know.
You bring up
Great answer for a great question.
100%. You bring up a good point there, because I'm almost certain, I could be wrong here, but John Bellion has apparently said in the past that he has what he believes is the perfect album made.
Okay.
But he made it for himself and his wife.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think that's something really special, I think, is that sort of idea of, you know, I can create as much as I like, but I don't owe anyone to release it.
That's it, man.
You know? And I like that a lot.
Sometimes, you know, like, obviously, if you want to be a musician and, like, you know, you want to be noticed, you have to put the songs out. But, like, some of my favourite songs are songs that I made a year ago that I just listened to for me. And it's like, I actually kind of don't want to put it out, because it's like, I love it. And it's like, if I start putting it out, then if it doesn't do as well as I thought, or blah, 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 I might start changing my opinion on it. I probably will put them out eventually, but it's like, for the moment, I'm enjoying just me enjoying it, you know? Because like, at the end of the day, you have to, like, if you want to be an artist, obviously you have to be in the public eye, but I think it's also important just to have stuff for yourself and be proud of yourself and enjoy it for just yourself.
Definitely.
I like that, Kev.
Yeah. And I suppose on the other hand, bringing a beautiful balance, you have yourself Mick with kind of a guaranteed laugh of a bar scattered into just about every track you touch.
Sound, bro. Sound.
Is there a favourite bar of yours on Custard Cream Dreams? Maybe one you're most proud of?
Do you know what, man? Like, I think...
I have a few.
I have a few as well.
I think, I don't know, when I wrote it, man, I think I liked the one at the end. Because I feel like, right, in terms of just pure rap, I feel like Tony was the one where I was like, I really wanted to kind of get some bars off, man, you know? And then I liked at the end, I felt like I put a lot of bars into it. And then at the end, I was like, I can't even remember how I rhymed it now, man, but I was like, so many bars in this track, you hit the next song with a hand.
Well, I'm about to read it out to you. So
like that one,
what I have here is, I was just about to tell you, my personal favourite line on the album is, so many bleeding bars in this track, I hit the next song with a hangover.
I think you threw that in like last minute.
Yeah.
Like,
it was after the song was made, man. I was just
Yeah.
like, here, wait to see this one there.
Well, that's my question was like, you know, was that just off the dome?
It was one of those where like we were trying to like finish up on the song, so it's like went back, listened to it, and I was like,
I think we were supposed to be just doing ad-libs that day. And he was like, nah, I don't end it strong enough. He's
Yeah.
like, I need to say something else. So he just punched in those last two lines. So kind of off the dome.
Sorry, man, yeah. But I like thought of it the night before, did you get me?
So yeah, I think something that, you know, areas like Crumlin do so well is kind of that sense of locality and community.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that really comes through in the album, definitely. And I think, you know, I'm not even from Crumlin, and you know, I'm sitting here listening to it and I can visualize all the places and things that you're mentioning, you know, so vividly. You know,
Class.
You've got Green Hills Church, you've got the Texas Fried Chicken, you've got St. Paul's, you know, all of these places. Is that something that you kind of intentionally weave through, that sense of locality, or you know, and if so, how do you go about constructing that?
Do you know what, man? I feel like on Red Brick Blue Sky, I think there would have been a little bit of that, because that one I feel like I did write with intentions, you know, because I heard the beat, I was like, oh man, this kind of what the quote you read out, man. I was like, you know, this reminds me of being off school in the summer day off. So it's kind of like I did tap in a bit on that one, you know. I was like, man, I mentioned, you know, the Dunn's bag, the bleeding, you know, the Capri Suns, go by St. Paul's, wave high to the you know what I mean? There was a bit of it in that song, yeah, but I feel like a lot of the times, like, the Green Hills Church, oh yeah, she's gorgeous, like the Green Hills Church, yeah. That one was just, I just think it's a gorgeous building, man.
Church,
Oh man, what a beautiful piece of architecture, bro.
I grew up actually going in there.
Did you?
Yeah, so I would have
you've been inside when the sun comes in, man.
I would have been raised, yeah, by my granny from Walkinstown.
Class, man.
So she would have brought me in
D12,
there for morning mass.
Nice, man.
Yeah, so
nice, man.
That line had a special place in my heart. Definitely, yeah.
You know how gorgeous that building is, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think sometimes it just happens naturally, but with Red Brick there was definitely intention there, yeah. How are you, Kev?
Yeah, I don't know if I name drop a lot of locations though, except for like my old address, I think. But
62, is it?
yeah, I think I don't think we intentionally done it, but I think like one of the things that me and Mick kind of felt. Well,
Granny Smith's as well.
Granny Smith's actually as well, yeah. Because I think more for me, Mick probably doesn't get it because he still lives around here, but I don't live here anymore, so I kind of like when I come back to Crumlin, I'm way more like. I kind of feel sad that I don't live here anymore because like where I live now it's grand, like everyone's nice enough and it's mainly old people on the road, but like you do definitely notice like the difference in community, and like I feel like in Crumlin you could walk around all day and you could have 20 conversations with people you've never met or people that you've only seen once or twice, whereas up at my house I feel like everyone's a bit more reserved and everyone just kind of sticks to does their own thing, which is like there's nothing wrong with that either, but I do think like community is one thing that I do miss about living around here.
It's nice actually, to be honest. It is nice.
100%. Yeah, that's great. And I think even bringing in that idea of balance, like you know, you have that sort of I'm still a part of it, I'm still here, you know, and then there's that sentimentality from yourself, Kev, you know, of, you know, maybe missing it a bit, you know.
Definitely. Like, oh, don't get me wrong, there's definitely when I was growing up, there was like, my road where I lived was like terrible at times, but like, if I could still live there, actually, I don't know. I
don't speak too soon now. You might be given an opportunity to pounce.
Yeah, I went down there recently, man. It's looking bad now. But like, if I could just live in Crumlin in general, I'd be happy. I think. Yeah.
I remember that.
No offense to anyone that lives on Lisdale.
No, but there was an issue though, wasn't there?
Man, it's gone to the dogs.
Yeah, there was like a lot of rats or something, wasn't there?
Yeah, so
in the news, like
when I lived there, crazy people lived there, but it looked nice. Like it was kept clean, but when you go down now, there's like Domino's pizza boxes everywhere, graffiti everywhere, like just rubbish. Someone burnt the pallet on the road on Halloween, like so people couldn't drive down it. And it's just gone crazy. That's
where the Sundrive song kind of comes from a bit. You know what I mean? Because you have bleeding dog walkie time and all, but that's like going on just there. Do you know what I mean?
I'm sure it's going on in the background while we're talking here, but
it's very interesting, man. You know, we had to talk about that, right?
What, dog walkie time?
Nah, well, but just how the contrast. You know what I mean? Like,
well, talk to me a bit more about that. I mean, that is really the theme of Sundrive, and Sundrive is as I say, the powerhouse track on the album.
Yeah.
So, kind of talk to me about where that kind of comes from, that sentiment of that theme, and how can you go about writing a song like that, but keeping a smile on your face? You know?
Well, I think that the smile on the face comes from just how funny it is, bro. I just think it's hilarious that, like, you know, we were growing up, especially, man, like, even on the old road I lived on, bro, like, there was carnage on that road, man. Chaos.
Wild West.
Man, there used to be this guy, man, right, that lived across, maybe, I don't know if we can call it that, actually, man. That might be a bit incriminating, but basically, maybe I'll skip this part, but there's just a lot of stuff. There's just a lot of mad stuff going on, but it's like, and I don't know, man, that was the thing as well, man. It was a lot more violent as well, I feel like, you know. It was just like, your idea of Crumlin, like, when you were younger was like, oh, man, this is a mad area, this is crazy, da-da-da. And then, you know what I mean, this area called Kimmage just like goes, swallows up like a lot of the area. And then before you know, man, it's like, you know, 12 quid sandwiches, man, chai lattes, like dog walkie time. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, it happened. And that was the thing, it was like, the way it happened as well, man, it was just like, it felt like it was nearly overnight, man. We missed a lot of it happening, you know?
Sure.
I always bring it back to the Monopoly board, bro. 2004, absolute mental warfare there, bro, you know what I mean? Crumlin and Kimmage at the bottom. I was like, people weren't talking about Kimmage before that Monopoly board, man, you know what I mean? It's been in the planet a while.
When I was a teenager, man, everyone like
called it Crumlin, man.
Everyone used to joke about Kimmage, saying that it didn't exist. Everyone was like, Kimmage is like a made up place.
Well, I mean, it's like it's just a crossroads, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, that's how I would have always pictured it.
It's a strip, man. It's a strip. It's like down there. But now it's like everywhere, and all the prices of everything is going up. Do you know what I mean? It's mad. It actually is nuts, man. But I suppose that's kind of part of it as well. The contrast in, and don't get me wrong, man, there is still parts of Crumlin that are kind of still kind of mad, and there is still some mad stuff going on. I do feel like it's gotten better though. You know what I mean? Over time, like when we were growing up as well, there was the big feud was on. Do you know what I mean? We'll call it that. So that was like, there would have been a lot of mad stuff going on with that. Obviously that's stopped now, so, you know, we've healed a bit, I guess. But you know yourself, man. It's just like it's the contrast, really. It's just so funny to me, man, how different it flicked. So that's where that comes from. I think. What do you think, Kev?
Yeah, I think it is. It's kind of funny. It's kind of sad and funny at the same time because like it's great that there's all these new places, like nice places to get food and like coffee and stuff.
You wouldn't have got a ping pong table in the park back then, man. I'll say that.
No, you wouldn't. Like literally,
you would not have got that, man.
The only thing you'd get was like there was a football pitch at the back of like St. Kevin's. That's like the most like kind of thing you go and do. So it's great that there's things popping up, but at the same time it's kind of sad because like I have even like some of my best friends now that like their moms live literally across the road and like they have like loads of money saved for a house, like have kids and all, and still have to live at home because they can't afford a house anywhere
in the area. That's
even in Dublin in general, but like especially like even one of my friends on his road, the house across from him went for nearly like $500,000.
It's down there, man.
And it's like literally where if you walk across the road, like and it's like that's not that kind of street, like
that's crazy, man.
Yeah,
it's just how it is. So things like that I think are disappointing, but that's just kind of the state of the world at the moment as well. So
and then Matt the Rasher's closing, bro, and then Granny Smith's closing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's just
a lot
mad.
of local shops closing, which is sad.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because some places are like, you know, a bit of a cornerstone. Do you know what I mean? There's one or two left now that there you go, bro.
Yeah, I think like, you know, there's something really Irish about that concept of kind of, even, you know, you might call it satire, but I think if you're Irish you kind of just know it as humour. And it's that, you know, because you're bringing up serious points here, serious issues in our country, full stop, about housing,
bro,
and I think Sundrive is a good example of kind of that concept of, you know, while there's still struggles here, we can kind of laugh about it because it's a collective thing, you know.
You kind of have to, man.
Exactly. And I think that opening, those opening lines, you know, like cheapest place on the Monopoly board, young lads fall into crime because they're bored. Could have been a genius with their own creations. The only town in Ireland with 2 guard stations. You know? And that's, you're talking about 2 lines there where you're bringing up serious points, and 2 lines there that are humorous,
bit of fun,
you know? And I think that's what makes
nice, Micah,
these kind of songs and these projects easy to kind of show people. I mean, I've been showing this project to family and they love it, man. You know,
deadly,
especially people who know the area and whatnot. And I think that's something. I think that's something really important.
Man.
I suppose moving away from the project itself, and kind of in and surrounding the project, we had the album listening party. And a kind of an aspect of any album release that I love is that kind of concept. I suppose in the case of Custard Cream Dreams, it was really unique. You know, tea, custard creams like we have here. Small venue, surrounded by kind of friends and family. With such a personal album, did that kind of continuity of that theme of kind of closeness and tight-knitness, I suppose, kind of play into how you planned the listening party?
Bro, 100%, man. Like, you nailed that there, man. Another brilliant question, man. Welcome to the Slant, man. You know what I mean? On fire, man, with this. Yeah, no, 100%, man. Like, I think that was the thing. We kind of said it, man, as well, because when I was living down that part of Crumlin, it was like Nanny's gaff was where I was living. And that was the thing as well, man, kind of what you were saying there. Beforehand, we were talking about, you know, childhood being a part of all this. Me and Kev both kind of said, like, there is a bit of a Nanny's gaff vibe off the album, you know what I mean, for us making it. But, like, that was the thing. We were kind of going for that with the listening party, man. That's why there was tea, there was biscuits. You saw as well, man, we had a few DVDs, a few CDs. There was a DVD player in the building as well. There was a few bits, you know. We had, like, photographs that were taken from all around the area. Shout out to you, and shout out to Copypock as well, man. Absolute go at what he does, man. He's actually such a sicko, man.
And he's just a nice boy.
Just a lovely fella, man. A lovely fella, man. And he's from here as well, man. So that was cool too, you know. But yeah, man, it was a big part of it because I feel like that kind of vibe. When I listen to like the first track, man, when I listen to Red Brick, it does kind of transport me back there. You know what I mean? Sundrive obviously now is a bit more of a present that's like modern day, but even the area, man, takes me back to it. So yeah, I feel like it was a core theme of the album, and we wanted to get that through with the listening party, man. You know, tea, biscuits, and that kind of vibe.
Definitely.
Great question, Micah.
Okay, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree with everything Mick said, and like that's the thing as well, is like we kind of like looking back at the album now, it's like, you know, you can kind of listen to it from a bit of an outsider perspective. So like,
yeah.
even when you're listening to it, I think it's like, I think I said it to Mick like just after it came out, but it's like there's a lot of topics on it that you discuss over like having tea and biscuits, you know.
That's good.
And it's even like we made it in our houses, you know. Like I live in my nanny's house, so for me it's like, it's like the whole theme of it is like just surrounded like that. I'm surrounded by that kind of vibe already, so it kind of made sense just to lean into it. But we didn't. That's the thing. We didn't really even plan it to be that kind of vibe. It just naturally kind of took that on.
Yeah,
sure.
And then Mick, we were trying to find a name for it for a while, and we couldn't really think of anything. And then shout out to Mick, because I'm terrible at naming things. And Mick was like, "What about Custard Cream Dreams?" And I was like, "Man, that's it. Like that's yeah." And that was literally like a few weeks before we put it out as well. So it was it kind of all just fell together itself then.
I feel like that's such an that's a nostalgic biscuit, man. To be honest, for me, man. Yeah,
no, 100%.
Takes me right back, man. So it actually when you say it out loud, man, it did line up real nice, man. Yeah. I'm actually really happy with that, man.
Yeah, I think as well something really unique about your listening party was that it was less of a listening party and more of a performance.
Yeah, man. Go ahead.
And that's something that has kind of been on the rise, and it's something that I actually much prefer, to be honest, to be able to hear a performance,
Yeah.
But a moment that I really loved after you'd finished performing the album in full was, Curtis and Flynn Johnson and others coming up and freestyling.
Man, that was lethal,
and
man.
I suppose the question is, what does it mean for you to have peers in the Irish scene that are not only equally talented but are supportive as well?
It means everything, I think, man. Because I think when you're starting out, it's very hard sometimes to find people who are like willing to like kind of give you advice and take you under the wing a bit. Just even find people who are kind of, I don't want to say genuine, but like there is a lot of people who aren't genuine in the music scene.
I say, Kev.
And there's a lot of people who are very cliquey as well, and if they see you doing like kind of alright, they actually, rather than support you, they'll get a bit like, it's like almost competition. So for us, like, to have people that we know and we're like friends with and make great music and like are very supportive and doing their own thing as well, it's like, it means everything, man, because it's such a small scene, and I think that it needs to be more of that, and unfortunately we haven't got to that place yet. So like that's why I value like even like Wallfella, Curtis, like all of our friends, Flynn and all, like they mean the world to me in musically, because it's so rare to find that. I think anyway. Maybe I just haven't been out there enough, but I think I'm onto something with that one personally. But we'll let Mick answer.
I fully agree with you there, Kev. And I feel like it's that thing of just, the ego going out the door a little bit, do you know what I mean? And just being like, no, we're all in this together. Now look, obviously sometimes that can be kind of, we're all in this. High School Musical. But you know what I mean? Sometimes it can be fake, that. Like that can be faked as well. Like, we're all doing this and that, but like, you get stabbed in the back pretty easy. But I think with those boys, man, they're genuine. I agree with Kev, man. Just like the genuine people, the ego's out the door. They would give you help. They're like with great advice, and they're just cool people, man. And I'm actually delighted you said that, and I want to say this as well on the fucking Slant, man. That wasn't planned, bro. That just happened. So we had Mick is Like was like my first song I put out. But that's like 2 minutes, right? But the original track is Nas is Like, and that's like a 4-minute song. So the beat just kept playing. It was just like, you know what I mean? People just kept. It was actually just such a organic moment there. But I like that, Micah, because you kind of can, if you look at it in that lens, it's like it was a nice moment with a few people from the scene that are doing the same. Yeah, man, no, nice, Micah, nice. It was wholesome. That's the word, bro. It's good stuff, man.
Yeah, and I suppose a lot of that comes from your involvement in Vision Lab, I suppose, both of you, and I kind of, I suppose, going all the way back to the start is like, how does a relationship like this build in that sort of environment for both of you?
Well, first things first, shout out to Vision Lab.
Yeah, shout out to Vision Lab.
Doing bits for the scene, man.
But even they've done a lot for us as well.
They've done a lot for us, bro. Like, they have, just me and Kev as, you know what I mean, independent musicians, as people as well.
As friends as well.
Yeah, that's the thing, we're all friends now as well, which is nice, because the lads are just deadly. But for us, man, for me and Kev, I suppose, we kind of clicked. So I would have been in Vision Lab when it started, when it opened up, man. Beckley hit up Absentee. He came in, done a few bits, we recorded. So I was there. Then I moved to Germany for a while. I was over there for a bit. But when I was in Germany, man, me and Kev kind of became pen pals, man. Yeah. But then what happened was when we came back, then it was like, oh, let's meet up in person and stuff. We met, and the weird thing was though, like we knew so many of the same people, but we'd never met each other, bro. It's just when you look
weird.
back at it, it was very weird. It was like we unlocked each other's characters when we started making music. And Flynn Johnson was saying that happened with him and Bitter Rock as well.
Really,
Same
yeah?
thing. They lived like doors apart, man. Never saw each other. Never spoke.
Universe, man, isn't it?
Exactly, man. It's the universe, Nidgy. But yeah, so I'd say like when we came back to Vision Lab, then we started to do a few sessions, and I think it's incredibly important, man. It's important to have a studio that's, you know what I mean, in your area.
Local,
yeah, local, man. Because you can go out to Pirate, man. But Pirate's a cold, dark, lonely place, man.
Scary place.
Yeah, man. I think I was saying, man, we were up there before. It was like a teenage disco, man. Going into the get a bleeding bar, the thing, people meeting each other and all, bro. You know what I mean? Holding the door open, smoking. I'm like, man, what's going on with this, man?
Rough up there.
Yeah, but it's good for the DJing part, though. I'll say that. But you know what I mean? It doesn't have the same community kind of sense
100%.
as a Vision Lab would. So that's the answer there. Yeah.
Okay, what about yourself?
Yeah, no, I think for me it's like super important to have people like Mick, who's like a brother at this point, but like
Kev.
yeah,
Legend,
so,
man.
and even just Vision Lab, it's nice to have places to go and like that community buzz. Like even when you're not making stuff, just to be there, be surrounded by it. Because sometimes you get uninspired, so it's nice to just get out and then you're kind of playing. You're like hanging out with mates, but you're also there trying to make something together. And yeah, I think we need more of those spaces in Dublin, to be honest. Sorry, I got distracted by him, man.
Yeah, I was gas, man.
But yeah, sorry, what was the full question, Micah?
I suppose just, what does it mean to build that sort of relationship in an environment like Vision Lab where it is kind of that community and music focus?
Yeah, no, it's super important,
bro.
and that's the thing as well. Like Vision Lab have, like we've done their like open mic series that they've done, like we've done writing camps with them. Like they've helped us out as musicians and as friends, like so many ways. And yeah, I think I'd just like to see more of that in general in Dublin, because there is a lot of studios, but not a lot of studios putting on like kind of events and stuff like that. You know?
Yeah. Good shout, Kev. Good shout.
But yeah.
How would you implement that if you were in charge?
In like if I was in charge in a studio,
or just in terms of creating those, how can studios or collectives be making those events happen? I mean, you guys have experience in that.
Man. I think like with Vision Lab, they've as far as I know, they've always done it out of their own pocket. Like they put on like events and like made food for people and all, let them come record, and like it was free in.
Oh my god, the barbecue and all.
Nick missed that, but like
I did, man.
They had done basically like a writing camp. It was like 20 people, and it was mostly like 17, 18 year olds. So that was kind of nice to see.
Artists,
Great.
People who had never recorded before, people who like had only written a song or like once maybe. And they all just came up and made stuff together, and a lot of them like went on then to actually keep making stuff. So I think there's a lot, like that's the thing, there's a lot of grants out there available, and especially if you're a studio space, you can get them from the government. So I don't know why a lot of places don't do it, but I think if I could do it, I'd definitely like have kind of like even 3 days if you can make it free, or like a 5 or very cheap, but like especially like around here, even just have like a day that like teenagers can come up, and even if they've never made music before, just have a chance at making it and be like, alright, like this is something you might want to do, you might not, but like at least you try that, and it might be an opportunity to get someone who's maybe going down the wrong path or just not doing that, and to like actually start doing something and have a space to feel like that's a safe thing to do. Because like going back to like when we were young fellas, like nobody rapped. You get the piss taken out of people who rap. There was only like a couple of Irish rap songs that people liked, and like 3 of them were like
comedy songs,
and one of them was like really depressing and like heavy. So just like creating a space and letting people know like it's alright to do that, like give it a try. You never know, you might go somewhere with it, or not even, but like they might just gain confidence from doing that to go and do something else. On that point as well, shout out to Grania, man, from Vision Lab, because she does stuff up at Stony Bar. Like she sets up full workshops, man. The doors are open, the music's just blasting, and the kids hear. Like I went up to the last one, man. This fella just comes in on like those electric bikes. He's like, "What's going on in here?" Do you know what I mean? He just comes in, she's like, "Oh, we have Ableton set up, we have this." You can play around and mess around. So I think stuff like that as well is important.
Great opportunity,
access to things. I think creating things for young people.
100%. So I suppose moving into the future, 2025 now. No doubt both of you have plenty more to come.
Yeah, bro.
I'd like to think so anyway.
Yeah. There'll be a few this year, Micah.
Yeah. Is there more we can kind of expect from the two of you? Maybe individual work either.
Yeah, I think both. Like that's the thing. Even we were like, oh, will we make something soon again? And I was like, I think we will.
In my head, I always had it that we wouldn't make an album again for a while, bro.
Sound,
but
bro.
then, no, because
Can't be doing it again.
No, bro, because I feel like it's like what I can kind of compare it to is Wu-Tang, man, because their first album was like, you know, they're all kind of fresh, they all done it, and then when they came back for the second album, Raekwon had a few albums out, Ghostface had a few albums out, the few of them had like solo projects. So when you listen to the second album, it was like, I don't know.
Improvement there.
Yeah, they were like better, but it was also like, you know, I know what he's about. I get a bit more of his style. Like, you saw the styles kind of come together a bit more. So for me, man, I feel like before, but this is how I'm kind of doing it. Before,
I'm only joking.
Before we do like another album, it would probably be in the future, bro.
No,
you know? 'Cause I want to develop my own style, my own sound. Like, if we come back and do a second Custard Cream Dreams, probably be a different name, right? But I think if we done another album, like I'd like to it be stepping it up, man. You know,
album's a commitment, so
man.
We definitely do songs in between. But
actually,
album, I don't know.
I'll say one thing on that as well, because there's a track that didn't make the album. Too Quick, it's called. Kev made the beat. It was like a solo track that I was doing. It's actually really nice, but it didn't. Because the thing with Custard Cream Dreams is we really focused on start to finish album experience, and it's a great. I love the song, man, but nice song. It didn't fit into the thing, so I'll be dropping that this year. Right, that's going to be coming. Yeah,
you brought up a good point there. I think about the Wu-Tang Clan, because I don't know if you've ever heard Pharrell Williams talk about Wu-Tang Clan. He mentioned this when I don't know if you've seen the clip of her name escapes me right now, but he's critiquing NYU students.
Oh god, I know the one you're on about. Is it Phoebe something, is it? No.
I know who you're talking
about.
You
know what I'm talking about. It'll be pulled up, I'm sure. But and he's critiquing
Maggie.
Maggie Rogers.
Yeah, that's
nice, good work. Alaska is the name of the song.
Nice.
And what he says is, what's so great about her music and similar to the Wu-Tang Clan is that it was so different that no one could really judge it. And I think what you bring, what kind of a point is, you know, so good and so different that people couldn't judge it, you know? And a point that you bring up is like, you know, they bring out that first album, then they all have kind of solo projects to kind of make it a little bit more palatable, that kind of sound, and then they come back together again and everyone recognises, okay, this is greatness.
Man.
And I think that's, I'd love to see that from you too, as much as I would love another project from both of you straight away. You know, I think there's definitely room for that, you know.
Equal, man. Micah, man.
Okay, what about yourself?
Yeah, I definitely want to. I think I briefly touched on it earlier, but like I've had kind of like this album that I've kind of been chipping away at over like since 2024, I would say, and like I'd say like 5 songs that I'm like, they're definitely on it, but the rest just hasn't been coming to me, man. So I'm like, I don't know, do I just make an EP and like move on from it, or I don't know. I think
could do that, bro.
At the moment, I think the problem I'm having is, I think since we've actually made our album and stuff, because we were making so many beats and stuff, I think I've got to a point now where like the beats that I have aren't inspiring me, and the stuff that I'm making isn't inspiring me. So I just need to try and find
the new sounds,
some way of leveling it up.
I get that, man.
So I think like I'd love to get something out. I'd love to get that album out. I think I will definitely put it out at some point this year, but whether it'll be the full album, I don't know. But at the moment, I think since our album, like I kind of was like, all right, let me relax a little bit. And I've been making a lot of beats, but I haven't been writing a lot, and I've been finding it kind of difficult to like get back into writing.
I'm on the other foot, bro. I feel like I'm not even making beats, man. I'm just rapping, man.
He's been rapping like since I think the week after we put the album out. Like, he's been on it. Whereas I don't know, for me it's like I feel like I come in waves of like I'll have loads of inspiration for a few weeks, and then like for a month or two I'll be like, nah, nothing's coming to me.
I think and something I've heard a lot recently, I think from primarily content creators, but I think it applies to all sorts of creativity, is that idea of you have to find that balance of what's going to get the attention but what's going to actually keep you driven to do what you want to do.
That's
and I think something I've noticed about you, I think in this last while, is that you've really improved.
Thank you, man.
Personally, Kev, I think you've really improved on that balance.
Lethal,
I think so, I think I've definitely I think I'm like more conscious now of like I do have to put stuff out, but also as well being like it's good for me personally to like take my time as well.
Definitely.
Which is not like that's the complete opposite of what everyone tells you to do.
Yeah, no,
you
fair,
know, and
fair.
everyone's like, no, you need to be like putting this out, blah blah, and it's like for me it's like I'll do that when the time comes, but for now it's like if I'm not in the mood to do it, I will still try to do it in like a capacity that it isn't stressing me out, you know.
And watch that you don't burn yourself out now, right?
See, I'm on the
On the other hand,
my bleeding. What date is it, boys? 16th, 29th, man. Next single. It's already
Next
uploaded
single?
this show. Yeah. No, I just feel like I'm inspired from the album.
Yeah.
Like even on the days leading up to it, man. This is kind of the inspo for the next single, man. I was like going to see Nas that night, bro. Cause the Cream Dreams was just out. I remember just being kind of tipsy, man. I was like, oh, I just wanted to write, like, do you get me?
Yeah,
I just had it in
that
me,
rap
man.
mode.
Yeah, man. So I feel like I've kind of launched into that, man. So for me, man, I'm trying to volley out the tracks, man. To be honest, yeah, man. No, to be honest,
He is, to be
I
fair.
feel like from now till summer, man, you'll actually see a few releases out of me, man. Like official releases, and even just trying to put more stuff. Even that's the thing as well, man. Because Bitter Rock done a beat pack there, man. I just listened, got inspired, man. I was like, this is a cracker of a beat. Wrote. Then I didn't finish it. Came back to it the next day, wrote a bit more. Then the next morning I finished. You know, I don't know. It's just like for me, man. I'm just like, I think I'm just inspired to improve as a rapper, man. Do you know what I mean?
That's great.
That's where my head is at, man. Just like get these raps up because I feel like the production on Custer. Don't get me wrong, man. I think the rapping was real for me, man. I felt like the rapping was real good, especially on Tony and Bleeding. I like all the songs. You know what I mean? But in terms of the rap, I feel like I could definitely take it to the next level. You know, that's where my head's at, man.
That's the thing as well. When anytime I do get uninspired, I go listen to Kustler Creams.
Yeah.
And it'll give me that like, like let me jump in and like do this bar, you know.
Has to be done, bro.
Yeah, I'm chipping away at it. I'm not putting too much pressure on myself, but also like not giving up on it, you know, being like just do a little bit every day. That's kind of where I'm at.
Has to be done, bro.
Yeah.
Has to be done.
Lads, thanks so much. I think whenever we come to sit down and connect, you know, we learn a lot about each other, but also I think music as a whole, and that's something I really appreciate. So thank you both.
No, thank you, man.
Bro. Absolute legend, man.
Good to have you,
I'm
lads.
kind of far away, but let's go for it, man. And thank you to everyone behind the cameras as well. Shout out to you guys.
He's done a job.
Perfect. Great.
He's done
Guys, thanks so much. Good stuff, lads. Great.
Fuck's sake. Oh.
Yeah, I'm from the
Yeah, listen.
Yeah, I'm from the
Rest in peace to Amy Kant.
Yeah, I'm from the
But I have to say this. Cheapest place on the Monopoly board. Kids fall into some crime cause they're bored. Probably could have been a genius with their own creations.
Yo.
Big back, probably.